Well, y'all, I'm gonna make this short and sweet because they made it short and sweet. Wasn't really a lot going on Raw. It was a good show per se, but we gonna get into it. First things first. Top commenter of the day. So, top commenter of the day goes to Pierre. He was numero uno coming in. Then you have Kayla, Sasha, Donnie, and Aaliyah rounding out the top 5. And my honorable mention goes to... Oh, looks like I don't have an honorable mention today. All right, so let's get into the show. All right. I promise y'all I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. We're not going to be here long. We're going to start off with who kicked off the show, which was none other than Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was the first man out because he had a match today with Chad Gable. Last week, he had a match with Bronson Reed. In both of those matches, I think he lost last week to Bronson Reed, and he ended up losing today to, I think it was a disqualification last week. Either way, in the match, Sami didn't come out on the good end of that match. Last week, he was laid out by Bronson Reed, and this week, he was laid out by Otis and Chad Gable. He suffered a loss due to the fact that Chad Gable, encouraged Otis to interfere in the match, to which he did because he had to please his master, Chad Gable. Prior to the match, they had a little back and forth. The two men basically chastised and berated each other, more specifically on Sami's side, that, Chad Gable was a master manipulator. He compared this particular match that he had with, or he has coming with Bronson Reed and Chad Gable, as a match that represents the 3 parts: the mind, the body, and the soul. He refers to Bronson Reed as the body because he is pure strength, brawn, and he really has no other, inkling about anything else other than fully going for that championship. He doesn't have any personal vendetta towards Sami. Sami's simply in his way, and he has something that he wants, which in hindsight, Sami could respect. On the other side of the spectrum, he has Chad Gable, someone who he once considered a friend, who blatantly embarrassed him in front of his friends, his family, and of course his hometown in Toronto after he suffered a loss to Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. This turned Chad Gable into sort of not only a dictator amongst his Alpha Academy students, as he likes to call them, but he's also mean and very cruel to others who are around him. He became black-hearted because he's been craving something that Sami Zayn was able to get, and he even coached him into getting it. And now that he had his chance to get it off of Sami, it didn't work out in his favor. So it only could mean that Chad Gable couldn't beat Sami, and he couldn't beat Gunther. So it obviously must be something wrong with him, right? But instead of internalizing it, progressing forward and changing how you're moving, he changed how he moved. Instead, he decided to adopt a new way of doing things. It's by any means necessary, which is why Sami Zayn refers to him as the mind. And he refers to himself as the soul. More specifically, in my opinion, the heart and soul. Sami Zayn moves and operates under the guise of I'm passionate about what I do and I love what I do. And I do this because it feeds me, it drives me, and it also is entertaining for all of you to see. Now, of course, he made it very clear that if he had to bet, and if he was a betting man, he would bet on the soul every single time. Now, Chad Gable came out and made it very clear that he's not a manipulator. He doesn't manipulate the facts. He's the one who coached him into getting that championship off of Gunther. And without him, he wouldn't be champion, which Sami has never denied. He has acknowledged it multiple times. The problem is that Chad Gable can't seem to understand why he's losing no matter who the champion is. On the other side of that coin is Bronson Reed, who has no soul whatsoever, per his own um, per his own statements. He has no soul and he has no personal vendetta against Sami. The only thing that Sami has that he wants is that Intercontinental Championship. He said he moves in the means of business and he does it through violence. And if Sami doesn't want to give it up easily, or in the way they say it in the streets, you can give it up smooth, or I'm going to have to take it from you. And of course, Sami's not going to just lay down. So Bronson Reed said, violence it is. And he basically told him, no matter what he says or does, he is going to continue to move that way. And he's going to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Now, these threats are very hollow, in my opinion. Bronson Reed has made these threats multiple times before against the previous champion, Gunther. And time again, Bronson Reed has failed to complete the task. Now, is it possible that he could do this against Sami Zayn? Sure. It's very possible. Is it possible that Sami Zayn could win? Of course. Everybody has a chance of winning in this particular match. It's a triple threat. Nobody has to pin the champion. Anybody can be pinned to win. So we shall see how this all plays out. But in the end, Sami Zayn ended up suffering a loss today against Chad Gable. This match was the match that was scheduled. And of course, Otis interfered after Chad Gable literally berated every single member of Alpha Academy, including Otis. And he slapped Otis for the second or third time in the midst of this feud between him and Sami. Now, Sami took up for them and basically asked all of them how long were they going to stand for Chad Gable consistently going after them and manipulating them and abusing them verbally on TV. This didn't work because they're all still listening and following after Chad Gable's lead, despite the fact that the reason why, if you're going to say that the reason why you're a loser is because of your students, well, in the words of Julius from Remember the Titans, attitude reflect leadership, Captain. If you are the one who's leading the ship, then it can only mean that the reason why your academy or your students are losers is because you are a loser. You haven't won a match except for the one you won today. And all of the matches that you've been booked in, including the ones you went up against Gunther in, you had a different mentality then, and you lost that match too. And while I'm all for your advancement, if you're going to point fingers, you should start with yourself. That's all I'm saying. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria rounded out the semifinals for the Raw side of the bracket. Okay? The girls were in there fighting. It was in there getting that women's tournament underway. Now, the original bracket, of course, as you can see, leading up to the quarterfinals, and then we were at the semifinals today. Okay, Lyra Valkyria was able to advance over Io Sky, and this was not an easy feat. These girls put on a hard fought match. It was brutal. Io ended up suffering a little bit of a bloody nose because of it, and Lyra Valkyria was getting her ass whooped this whole match. There was really not much that Lyra could do to combat against Io Sky. She had her in the air, land, and sea. There was nowhere that Lyra could move or go. It just so happens that one misstep on Io's part led to Lyra's victory in a nice little sit down pin. Okay. Now, of course, Io was shocked, as was a lot of people, because Io Sky was the expected winner in this particular match. But I, as well as Nicole and several others that have been in this live and in our group chats previously, have suspected that Lyra Valkyria was going to win this tournament from the very beginning. She was the main underdog in this tournament, coming in as the newbie, fresh out of the drafts. She came in and she was able to go all the way to the finals. And you got to give it up for Lyra, because even in the beginning of this tournament, she showed great promise against her opponents, and she has been solid in every single match. Now, one thing I'm not liking about the way WWE is booking Lyra is the way they keep incorporating Becky in her business. Keep them separate. I don't need to see Becky and Lyra in any way, shape, or form together. I also don't want her involved in any of the feuds that Becky is involved in. And it looks like they're going to keep her tagging along. Now, I understand sometimes you pair a veteran with a rookie to kind of help usher them in. But in this case, them talking in passing is fine. But when you have her being involved in the feud with her, Becky, and Liv, and then you've got Becky, coming back there before her matches, hyping her up, it's a bit much for me. I prefer Lyra Valkyria to fly on her own merit, if that makes sense. It's no shade to Beckla, because I love Beckla, but I want them to keep them separate. And I know that they're not, but that's just what I want. Anyways, Valkyria advanced. She is headed to Saudi Arabia, to Jeddah, to challenge whoever wins on the Raw side, because Bianca Belair has quite the challenge in Nia Jax. And Nia Jax, if Bianca Belair is 100%, which we can only hope, she also has a challenge on her side. Bianca Belair ain't no slouch, okay? And neither is Nia Jax. This second run for Nia Jax has really shown and proven that Nia is a top contender in this company and a future women's champion, a very near future women's champion. So we're going to have to wait and see on Friday when they get to Jeddah, because they are in Jeddah for SmackDown this week. We'll have to wait and see on Friday who actually advances and ends up going to the Saudi show on Saturday, and who probably is going to end up going home. With all that being said, let's talk about Bron Breakker. Okay. But first things first, let me get to y'all comments. Ciao. Let's not talk about it. Well, we have to. It's the show, ladies and gentlemen. We can't skip over Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker's orange soda looking ass came out there today and decided that he didn't like the match that he was booked for. And to be fair, if I am going to play devil's advocate and look at it from Bron Breakker's side, I ain't gonna lie. I said the same thing. Why are you booking Bron Breakker to go up against local talent when you've got plenty of talent back there for Bron Breakker to feud with? Quite frankly, if you did it right without including Bronson Reed so early, you could have had Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker in a feud, and Bron Breakker could have interrupted everything Bronson Reed had going on, and you could have had two big meaty men fighting in the ring. But Adam Pearce, wide-hipped ass, don't know how to run his show. And I'm telling y'all right now, and I need y'all to hear what I'm saying, very soon, in the near future, Kiana James' fuck ass is going to be running Monday Night Raw. Understand what I'm saying now? Don't look at me like I'm crazy, because I know some of y'all looking at your phones and your tablets and your computers like, bitch, trust what I'm telling you. Fuck ass Kiana is going to be running Monday Night Raw. She is pulling a Vicky Guerrero. Okay? Now, if you weren't walking around, if you wasn't living, or if you weren't old enough to know, back in the day when Teddy Long was GM Okay, story time. Teddy Long was GM. All right, he was getting married to Crystal's non-wrestling ass. And she was her character was given I need to come up, okay? So she was getting ready to marry Teddy Long. Teddy Long ended up having a heart attack. Now, before the heart attack came and the whole planning of the wedding, you see Crystal introduced Vicky and was like, hey, Teddy, Vicky needs a job. He said, okay, cool. I'll make you my assistant. All right. So the whole time Vicky was doing Teddy's bidding. You know, she was keeping everything together. Teddy was over here, getting loved on by Crystal. Gross. And all of a sudden the wedding come up. Teddy Long is over there in the middle of the wedding, and this motherfucker fucks around and has a damn heart attack. Everybody's aghast. Heart attack. Oh my God. Is he dead? No. He just had a heart attack. After that, Crystal and Teddy Long disappeared from TV, and Vicky Guerrero takes over as GM. Now, what we got is a series of events and storylines with Vicky Guerrero that led to some of the most disgusting stuff I've seen in WWE's time, okay? We had to watch Vicky Guerrero making out with Long Chin Edge's ass on national TV. Oh, the nightmares. Jump scare terrified me, honey. Okay? Now, y'all got to listen. I'm finna tell y'all how I came to this conclusion about fuck ass Kiana. When Adam Pearce's wide hipped ass was walking around back there with that ambulance, which I'm gonna explain in a minute, Kiana came out of nowhere and said, Adam, listen, hey, I'm here if you need me. Adam said, no, Kiana, right now, I got it. She said, okay. She walked off. I said, oh, I see what the fuck y'all doing. I got you. I got you, Trip. I see you. Yo bald-headed ass you ain't gonna get one past me, Kratos. I see what the hell you doing. I see it. I see it, okay? I see it. Now look. Bron Breakker was in his feelings. And instead of having the match, Bron Breakker decided to decimate this particular local talent, okay? Like 2-3 spears later, Bron Breakker tore this damn local talent dude up. He was unable to finish the match, so the ref deemed the match over and declared Bron the winner. He had to call an audible. Bron didn't like that. He was snapping too. If you was paying attention, that man was going in and out of rage. It was very, very quick. 1 minute he was in full rage mode. The next minute he went back to being calm. That's the mark of a psychopath. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Okay. Now, his orange soda looking ass got ready to leave. He then decided to attack the dude again. Got the steel steps, and the rest of the producers and everybody came from back there to stop Bron from going overboard. He ain't like that. So he went and got a chair and bust the dude in the head with a chair, child. Devastated. Destroyed. Deception. Disgrace. Just that poor man. That poor man. I hope he got paid well for the damages he sustained, honey. Now, Adam got the man on the gurney. Bron Breakker was of course, in love with his work. Gets in the back, and Adam is like, Bron, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is going on? He was like, well, you didn't want to put me in the tournament. So this little local talent you had me go up against, that's on you. I'm like, so wait a minute. Hold on. Some of a bitch. I know you did not beat the hell out of this man because you didn't get put in the King of the Ring tournament. Is that what you said? Is that what we're hearing? So you literally had a full-on fucking tantrum because you weren't picked? You picked me, bitch? Child. Child. That's sad. That's the saddest shit I've ever heard in my life. This is what you do. This is how you react. And not only that, Ricochet had nothing to do with the tournament, Adam Pearce, none of that. You attack Ricochet straight out the blue after you told Adam that that little local talent's blood was on his hands. You attack Ricochet, take Ricochet out while Ilya's talking to Ricochet. So now it's probably going to be Ilya versus Bron Breakker next week, which, fine. Fine. Do something. But it just... God, it just was unnecessary. It's unnecessary. I was disappointed. I was like, this is not what we paid for. But it was entertaining, I'll say that. But I was just like, oh, child. Now we did get another QR code today. If you was paying attention, there was a QR code that popped up. This is the QR code. Me personally, I didn't scan it because I am not I don't like the creepy subliminals. They freak me out. And now WWE has started acknowledging these QR codes and messages that are popping up. So we're going to see how this all plays out. But that did pop up on the screen. I wanted to make sure I put that up. I thought it was Ilya at first too, but I knew it was Ricochet because when Ilya had on that blue suit and he stepped to the side, he was literally on the side, and Bron like literally just spearheaded his attack right at Ricochet. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, Adam, get control of your show. Not only that, okay? Not only that, but Cruz del Toro got attacked again today. Now, Carlito's taking credit for this. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I don't think Carlito did it. Now, I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, but I don't think that he did it. I don't think he did it. I really, really don't. Something about the way Priest was talking to him and his response just didn't sit well with me. If you did something and you was taking full credit, you would acknowledge that, right? Why would he hide? I mean, this would prove that he is down for the cause with Judgment Day, right? So why was he so hesitant? And it didn't go well with me. And I'm like, you didn't attack him. Somebody else did. Now, Rey Mysterio be making psychopaths every 5 seconds, so you never know. It could be another member of the LWO who did it, okay? Joaquin could have been like, I need you to stay gone so I can continue shining in the group. Or it could have been Dragon Lee like, bitch, I want to be the star. Yeah, my way. It could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. We never know. Because the way Rey Mysterio was raising these children, every one of his children turn into psychopaths. It is giving very much Glass. It's giving very much Unbreakable. They're all evil. So, figure it out. Now, there was a fatal 4-way match for the women's tag team championship number 1 contender. You had Maxine and Ivy Nile versus the Dance Disco Twins, Shayna and January 6th, and who's the 4th team? Oh, Damage Control. Okay. I actually really liked this match. I thought that they all competed really well in this match. Everybody got their moment to shine, including Maxine. I think January 6th. And her name's Zoe or some shit. Zoe Stark. Ain't that her name? That's her name. She one of them January 6 hoes. I don't care what y'all say. Her ass wasn't there, but she was there in spirit. Anyway, January 6th and Shayna won. And before that, we got a little sneak peek of Sonya. Sonya Deville has retired, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And we love Sonya around these parts. Sometimes she get on my damn nerves, but we love Sonya around these parts, okay? So Sonya came back. Now, why you got that clown mask on? What's going on?
This is something they got one person doing.
Hey, Now I'm happy for Sonya because Sonya had been gone and sidelined with a really bad injury. I don't know what kind of tear she had, if it was ACL or MCL, but she had a tear of some kind. She had been sidelined for a while. She finally came back. She is healthy and she's ready to go from what we see. So Sonya being back on the Raw brand, ooh, it's about to be some mess. Now, later on in the night, when we see what Chad Gable and Otis is talking about, Sonya back there and she's chit-chatting with Shayna and January 6th. Now, prior to that, this little conversation between Shayna and January 6th was had, and Sonya, and basically Sonya was like, I want to talk to y'all right quick. I got a little proposition for you. And Shayna was like, nah, bitch, we good. We don't need no work from you. We don't need no work from you, babes. We're all right. We're good. Thanks. So when they got in the back after they won that match, she was talking to them, and it looked like she was like, y'all ain't gonna get nowhere if y'all don't let me in. If y'all don't let me help, y'all ain't going nowhere. So I don't know exactly what they was talking about, but that's what it looked like to me. Okay, that's what it looked like to me. But hopefully we'll get to see how that pan out. Shayna and Sonya and the January 6th together is a good squad, in my opinion, with Sonya being the leader, because ain't nobody finna listen to January 6th talk, because the way she talk, girl, no. And no shade to Shayna, but for whatever reason, they are not giving Shayna the reins to move the way she should be. So until they take the shackles off of her, she gonna need to be paired with somebody that can move in the way WWE need them to, but let Shayna still be the bruiser that she can be. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know what Shayna Baszler is capable of, and she do not need a handler the way that January 6th do. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're not going to make them into a faction that is dominant, the next faction, because Damage Control needs to completely implode, in my opinion. And then if you're not going to make them the next dominant female faction, then what the fuck are you doing? Okay? What are we doing here? What? She is January 6th hoe. Shoot. Y'all know she is. That's why y'all know she is. That's why y'all commenting on it, because y'all know her ass is. Now, what else happened on the show today? Did I miss something? Did I miss a match? I missed a couple things, but we're gonna get into it. So Love Big Kaiser was out there. Love Big did another promo on Sheamus once again, and Sheamus is nowhere to be found. Drew McIntyre was there. Talking about the people want to see me, and then didn't do nothing. What else happened? Okay, let's talk about Becky and Liv right quick. Okay, before we get into the last throws of this show. Becky came out there to cut a promo on Liv Morgan, and basically she called her a coward in so many words. She was like, she is a coward. That lady is always running from a fight, and I'm gonna be her at Saudi. Essentially, that's what she said, to sum it up, okay? Because it was taking too long. Liv came out there and was like, no. I can't believe you was out here gaslighting these people like this. That's not how it happened. She was like, you had an issue with Damage Control, not me. They came out here after you, not me. So I was not about to involve myself in something that didn't have nothing to do with me. Okay, that's number one. She was like, number two, girl, I'm not about to do nothing. She like, I'm going to keep on doing what I always do, which is stand in my purpose. I found my purpose. I know what I'm here for. You are not my purpose. You are nothing but a silver footstone for me, babes. I don't think about you just like I don't think about these other bitches. Okay? The only thing I'm concerned with is getting that championship and finishing what I started. That is all. That's it. That's all. So Becky was like, girl, your ass is selfish. She was like, Liv was like, selfish? I'm not selfish. She was like, girl, you're selfish. All you think about is yourself. It's always been about Becca. It's never been about nobody else. It's always been about you. Always you. Becky. For once, I'm thinking about me and you're mad, you're in your feelings. Girl. let's just call it a day, and you do you and I do me, and then we can have it out in Saudi, because once I go to Saudi, I am going to be your women's world champion. Boom. Okay, and Becky was like, okay, girl, that's all well and good, but you always talking that bullshit. She said, girl, when I'm in this ring, this is about the people. Okay, I lay my body on the line for the people. I lay my body on the line for them. She said, I'm a New York Times bestseller. Okay, I didn't have to find my purpose, bitch. I always knew what my purpose was. Okay, since I was 15 years old, I've been living this. I've been eating this. I've been breathing this. Okay, you just found out what your purpose was. What? 10 seconds ago, bitch? Congratulations, clown. You got yourself together. Glad you got a little leeway to pull yourself up. Glad you figured out some kind of way to get you to the top. But it ain't going to keep you there, because you don't know how to maintain yourself. You don't know how to focus. You don't know how to focus. But it's cool. I'll be all that you talking about. I'll be all that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to remain champion, but I'm going to beat your ass when we go to Saudi. Okay, that's how that's going to work. Child, Liv started talking that rah-rah. And Becky was like, well, you doing all this talking, and you said you ain't scared. Well, bitch, let's get into it. I'm here, we here, you here, they love us, we here, let's go, let's at it. Let's go out here. We in the ring right now, get your ass in here and let's go at it. And then Liv pulled a typical heel move and walked down to the ring like she was going to fight, and then jumped off. One of these days, she going to break her heels the way she be walking in them all the time. She always walking like she about to fall, child. She was like, girl, I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not finna fight you right now, all right? I'm going to do the smart thing. I'm like, which is the first thing you've done in your career in a very long time, which is wait until Saudi, and I'm going to make sure I do what I came here to do, which is take your women's world championship away from you and become the new champion. And then she walked away. And I was like, y'all wasted 10, 13 minutes between the two of these hoes for them to just say that. Not to mention, prior to that, she punched Lyra in the face, which I still don't understand the reasoning behind that. I guess she punched her because they friends or whatever, but my thing is this: punch the bitch who punched you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already threw her into a ring post, but Becky ain't got her receipt on that shit yet, right? But had that been me, and I was and I came from the back, and I had just won my place into the Queen of the Ring tournament, the finals, and then you come back here talking that rah-rah about Becky and punch me in my face, the first thing I'm doing is getting my lick back. And I'm gonna punch you dead in your shit. Like, the first time I see you, it's on sight, bitch. Because you and them unblended weaves you got me all types of fucked up. There ain't no way you gonna punch me in the face for another bitch. Let me say that again. There ain't no way you finna punch me in the face for another bitch. That's not happening. Okay? No. No more freebies. Craziness. Absolute anarchy. Okay? Now, let me make sure I covered everything before motherfuckers get on my ass that I missed something. Let me look. Minor interactions backstage. So, Xavier Woods was in the training room, and he basically has been cleared to come back to wrestle. Now, Kim, not Kim. Sorry, Kim. I seen your name in the comments, so I ended up calling it. My bad, girl. Now, Karrion and his wife, Evil Scarlet, been coming back there messing with them mind games. Last week, they went after Kofi. If it was last week or the week before, they went after Kofi and was like, ooh, tough loss. You know, I think it was the week before last. They talked to Kofi and was like, it's okay, Kofi, you'll get him next time. It was real sinister. You know, he was waiting for him and shit, laying in wait. I was like, girl, okay. Now, this week, Xavier's cleared to wrestle. And of course, Karrion is taunting him like, you can always just wait and, possibly, hold off on coming back. You don't want to come back too soon. You don't want to rush it. You want to take your time and make sure it's the right time to come back. It was real sinister. Evil Charlotte was standing there next to him, cheesing and shit. It's scary. I was like, you hoes are scary. I don't like it. I don't like it. She said Liv has had piss running down her leg when Becky tries to fight her. I don't know. I don't know what kind of. I don't know what's running down her leg, baby. I ain't that close up on her. I don't know. Becky spanked Liv on the mic. If we being honest, both of them was pretty even kill. I mean, bro, Liv went back to her Liv trying 3,000, and Becky pretty much did what she always do, which is brag on herself and make sure she tell you what you can and can't and what you ain't gonna do. It's pretty clear. If I was out, I would have whipped Liv, especially after winning my spot in the finals. She chose to stay in the bike, or at least that's how they wrote it. That's how they wrote it, child. So the final thing that we gonna talk about, and then we'll be out of here. I'm 35 minutes in. I told you it was a pretty short show. There wasn't really a lot going on. A lot of it had to do with bigger segments. So Bron Breakker segment took up a big chunk of the show. Okay. Then you had the segment with Sami Zayn and them. The matches were much longer than normal. And then of course we had that long fatal 4-way tag team match. So we had a lot going on, but there was more time added to certain condensed segments that made the show fly by a little bit faster. So the final show, or the final match, was Jey Uso versus Gunther. For the most part, in this match, it was very even kill. But as Gunther always does, he found an opening and he took away half of Jey Uso's power, which is in his arm. He targeted his arm and continued to target his arm relentlessly. So much so that Jey rendered his arm unusable throughout the match. And this is where Gunther pretty much took over. There were glimpses where Jey Uso could have possibly won a match, especially at the end. But Gunther did what he always do, which is found a loophole to win accidentally. Knocked out the ref a little bit or fell into the ref or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Referee was out and Jey Uso had a pin on Gunther. He had waited just a little bit too long to count. Gunther was able to kick out and he put Jey Uso. He literally made him fall asleep. Like he literally put him to sleep in the middle of the ring. So he won. He advanced to the finals as if this was not already predestined. We already saw this coming. The moment that his fucking beaker looking ass was in the tournament, we all knew that he was going to be champion. That he was going to end up the king of the ring. So give it to him. I'd have just gave him the fucking crown at this point because it was a waste of my time to sit through all of this just to see Gunther win because he's going to win the tournament. He's going to win the tournament. If Randy advances over Tama Tonga, which is highly possible, he's going to beat Randy. He's going to beat Randy. I'd be fucking shocked if he didn't. Okay? And then Tama Tonga obviously is not going to win. So you have that. Now, the King and Queen of the Ring tournament is set for Jeddah this Saturday at 12 p.m., okay? And the matches for the card is already booked. The only thing that we're waiting on are the last two matches, which is the Queen of the Ring finals, which we are going to have by Friday, and the King of the Ring finals, which we will also have by Friday. But currently, the match card is set this way. Becky Lynch is the only woman defending her championship on the card, which leads me to believe that she was requested to come to Saudi. Saudi is a different breed of a PLE. They don't book the Saudi show by the fans here or the rest of the fans around the world. They book the Saudi show for the fans that it's being shown to, which is the Saudi people. So these matches are going to be a bit different from what we're used to seeing in terms of booking. It's pretty traditional in terms of Sami's match, in my opinion, but the other two matches on the card are unique. Did we see that Becky and Liv were going to be leading to Saudi? Of course. We saw that happening from the beginning when she took out Rhea Ripley. But I I didn't think it would happen like this. I didn't think that Becky would be champ, of course, and she would be the one going after Liv. I expected Rhea Ripley to be going up against Liv Morgan and Becky possibly having a different match on the card, or maybe even added to the match as a triple threat. But one will never know because Rhea Ripley, unfortunately, is out, and we are down to Liv and Becky. So, Liv and Becky are going to be fighting Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have to wait this out to see who's going to pick up the win. Intercontinental Championship is being defended. Sami's defending it in a triple threat match against Bronson Reed and Chad Gable. The body, the mind, and of course, Sami is the soul. And then we're moving into the third match that is booked, which is probably the one that is booked the most for the Saudi people. This is Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, champion versus champion. Only in this instance, Logan Paul decided to switch up the tempo in the middle of the match. He doesn't want to defend his title because, of course, he can't run the risk of losing his championship. So his title is no longer on the line. It is only Cody's. Even if Cody wins, he will not become the United States champion. He'll just remain the WWE Undisputed World Champion. Okay? And for now, those are the matches that are booked for the Saudi show. So, we got a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen, because the lineup for the next couple of months for pay-per-views is not going to stop. We got this show booked, of course, but then literally 2 weeks later, we have another show that's booked. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. If you watch NXT would be the next PLE that we would see, which is June 9th on Sunday. It's NXT Battleground. Battleground is also going to feature the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match, which currently now has 2 competitors, Sol Ruka and Lash Legend. We're waiting to see if the other 4 competitors will qualify for this PLE. All right. Now, the next show that we have to look forward to is on Saturday, June 15th, which is Clash at the Castle. Okay. So that is where they're going to be booking next. And of course, again, this is a combo show because SmackDown will emanate from Glasgow and so will Clash at the Castle. This is going to be overseas in Scotland. Both of these shows are going to be there. So it's a lot going on. Not only that, but we move right into Money in the Bank in July on the 6th. SmackDown will emanate from Toronto on the 5th. Saturday will be Money in the Bank. And then that Sunday is another PLE for NXT, which is NXT Heatwave. All of that happens in the month of July. And literally, in Money in the Bank and the Clash at the Castle are about a month or maybe a few weeks shy of a month apart. So let's just say they're about 3 weeks apart as well. Y'all, it's a lot because we got another pay-per-view coming, okay, which is the big one. SummerSlam is on the 3rd of August. Again, it's about 3 weeks after Money in the Bank. Then of course, you got it's going to be emanating from Cleveland. And then after that, 3 weeks later on the 31st is Bash in Berlin, which is in August. It's in Berlin, Germany. It just never stops. And I believe there's another NXT PLE in between there, which might be the Halloween episode for NXT. There might be some TV PLEs in there. WWE's schedule is hella tight with these pay-per-views. You get about 3 weeks in between each PLE. So it's a lot going on, ladies and gents. But the storylines make sense leading into each PLE. They're not rushed or overstuffed. We like what we're seeing and we're enjoying what we're seeing on television. So hopefully they keep that train rolling, moving into the new PLEs, and we'll see where we're headed once we get into October, which is when a lot of the shows, September and October is when SmackDown moves to USA Network permanently, and in October, NXT moves to the CW permanently. They will keep their respective days, but those are the moves. And then in January in 2025, Raw will emanate exclusively streaming on Netflix. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the show. So I will see you guys tomorrow for after NXT goes off. We'll go over NXT and hopefully they will tell us who the next two competitors that will be competing in the NXT North American Women's Championship ladder match. Since we got Lash and Soul, I'm going to go with Jada Parker winning her match. And I'm not sure who is in the other match on Tuesday. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because usually they post a little early. You know, sometimes they post it a little early. You never know. So we'll have to wait and see. But you guys have a good night. I will see you tomorrow and we'll come right back here and discuss NXT. NXT has a couple of shows that they are going to be running. The match for the NXT North American Challenge qualifier match for the North American Championship, it's changed. Ivar is out. He's been injured. I don't know if that injury is kayfabe or if it's real, but Ivar is currently injured. So Ivar will not be competing in there. Joe Coffey will be competing in that match. And if you watched NXT last week, then you know that Joe Coffey attacked Ivar, West, and Josh Briggs, taking all of them out with his squad of known as Gallus. Okay, so Joe Coffey has weaseled his way into this triple threat match to defend, to go up against Obafemi to try to take that championship from him. First, he's got to get past Wesley and Josh Briggs. I don't think he will, but of course, he weaseled his way into this match. And Gallus has returned, which has deepened the tag team pool extremely. So we're going to wait and see how this happens. Gallus is a former, 2 or 3 time NXT men's champion. They've been NXT UK men's champion as well. So it's a lot going on, all right? Not only that, but Tony D'Angelo is your new Heritage Cup champion. So we'll see how that plays out. And the storyline between Noam Dar, Lash Legend, and Trick Williams is shaping up to be a bit messy. All right. And I'm assuming that probably this Tuesday coming, Trick Williams' new opponent for NXT Battleground will be determined to be Noam Dar. So we'll have to wait and see how this is all going to play out. And the question is, whose side is Lash Legend going to be on? Is she going to side with her man or is she going to side with her friends? I don't know. But she be calling them, Willy Wonka and shit. So I don't know. It ain't none of my business. I'm just saying I side with the one who giving me what I need. But whatever makes you happy, babe. I will see y'all Tuesday and we'll talk about NXT some more on Tuesday. Y'all have a good night. Peace.